I think everyone is starting to filter in. I will ask, we would love to have everyone, if they feel comfortable, have their camera on, but we do ask that you mute yourself just to minimize background noise so that everyone can hear the presentation clearly. And let me just check. Yeah, let's go ahead and dive in and just get started. Well, thank you for coming and welcome everyone to Design Thinking in Education, Empathy, Opportunity, and Ideation. Today's workshop is hosted by the Educator Product Team. However, I do want to start with just a quick reminder. If you read the description, this is a hands-on session, so make sure you have paper and pen or marker handy, as well as a phone with a camera. We'll be using those throughout the session as we go. So if you don't have them, take a second to grab them, and we're going to dive in and get started. So the objectives for today's session are first to introduce how products are built and the design thinking process. This is something we engage with heavily at Course Hero. And then to try out some of the common tools and techniques for applying design thinking in this work. And last but not least, gain a basic understanding of how Course Hero can help educators in their work. As you can see, we have an extremely packed agenda and a couple housekeeping notes. Please make sure to add all questions into the chat. If they are about any of the instructions we're giving as we go along, we'll try to call them out and address them as quickly as possible so everyone's on the same page. If they are more general questions, we do have some Course Hero team members that are going to be keeping track of the questions, and we'll make sure they don't get lost in the shuffle as the session winds down, and we're going to try to answer them at the end in the Q&A section. I would like to specifically call out a couple of my colleagues, Richard Maddox. He is on our Educator Partnerships team and can help you with any of the needs that you have if you have any questions or concerns. And Monique Ho, who can answer any questions about our library. And then also, we're going to try to keep today's session as active as possible. So please follow along because we're going to be pausing periodically to allow everyone to try the activities that we're talking through. This is actually a digital version of a workshop that we ran in office last year. So we are in the same boat a lot of you guys are of trying to do what you used to do in person digitally, and not just for this workshop. We've been trying to figure out how to do things that we typically rely on in-person interaction and group activities in a digital format. So trust me, I get it, and hopefully we can all go on this journey together. Now, who am I and why am I talking to you guys right now? So my name is Chelsea. I am a senior product manager here at Course Hero. And Kegeng?
Hi, I am Kegeng. I am one of the product designers.
And we both work on the team here at Course Hero that is dedicated to building experiences for educators. And we work with all of these lovely people. So we have another product manager on our team, another product designer, a ton of engineers, and a kickbutt content strategist. You'll see him tweeting a lot, Sam. And we also work very closely with Richard and the rest of the partnerships team and the events team putting on our wonderful education summit to design the best experience possible and stay as close to our customers. So in addition to Kegeng and myself, we have a few of our colleagues that are here helping out as we continue to move through the session. So we have Kamal Khubani also on our team and a director of product management here at Course Hero. Erica Lynn, a product designer for our tutor experiences, and Daniel Showalter, a product designer for our student experiences. And to introduce design thinking, here's Kegeng.
Yep. So what is design thinking? Design thinking was introduced by Tim Brown, the president of IDEO, which is a world-known design agency, and through his book called Change by Design. So Course Hero Educator Product Team uses design thinking to guide the product design and development. So design thinking is a human-centered methodology. It encourages organizations to focus on the people they are creating for. So design thinking is also versatile to diverse roles and or industries, whether you work in business like us or education like you. Design thinking can help you develop innovative solutions based on the needs of your customers, or in this case, your students. So in general, design thinking has 6 phases. So first of all, we need to understand users and the problem space. Then we explore opportunities and the solutions. Then we materialize the solutions and learn from tests and experiments. So this is a very iterative process. We can go back to any phases at any time as we learn. So for today's workshop, we're going to actually try out the first 3 phases, which are empathizing user problems, defining opportunities, and ideating solutions.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Kegeng. So I'm going to get started with how to empathize. This is also where the interactive portion of the workshop starts. So I would ask that you get your pens and paper out because we're going to be ready to take notes shortly. So a great question to start with is, how do we empathize with our users? And the answer is pretty simple. Usually we just talk to them and we try to ask them questions about the challenges that they're facing as they get things done. And we do this through an exercise called a user interview. A user interview is usually the first step that a product team will take when we try to find new problems to solve, or when we're trying to understand an existing problem more deeply. So now the exciting, and again, interactive part starts, and we're actually going to try a live user interview together. So please take notes as we go through these interviews, because we're going to utilize those notes in our subsequent steps. And who we're interviewing will be familiar faces. If you were in the general session this morning, they were both featured in our bumper reel. So our first user is Dr. Kelly Richmond Pope, an associate professor of accounting at DePaul University. If you would like to say hi, Kelly.
Hi.
So a little bit more background on Professor Pope. Her research focuses on organizational misconduct, ethics and fraud, and how organizations design cultures and compliance systems, sorry about that, to confront these challenges. She also teaches in executive education programs at the Kellogg School of Management at Northwestern University, and I'm not sure I know how to pronounce the school name correctly, Quinlan School of Business at Loyola University. Welcome, and thank you, Professor Pope, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and dive in. And again, for our audience, please take notes, because we're going through the process together. So, Professor Pope, what problem is top of mind for you right now?
Well, a problem that's top of mind actually today and with last week is trying to find educators outside of my discipline. I am an accounting professor, and I've always found that the industry of higher ed is very siloed. And so I know a ton of accounting professors. I mean, if I needed to know someone in California that teaches managerial accounting, I could find them. But if I wanted to find someone that taught psychology or nursing, how do I find them? And I've always found that when I need to look outside of my discipline, I just feel lost. I can't really find them on LinkedIn because it's just too many people. So wanting to see inside someone else's class in another field was really an issue of top of mind issue, because accounting is very interdisciplinary, even though we still treat it like a very siloed discipline. Every field is impacted by it. So sometimes I want to explore other people's courses.
Awesome, thank you. That was really insightful, and I'm excited to see where everybody takes this learning as we go. So for the audience, I would love for us to take a pause here and for everyone to try to briefly summarize the problem that Professor Pope is facing in their own words. We're going to be using this problem statement in the next step of the exercise. So we'll take a few seconds here. All right. And if you're not done, don't worry, keep going. But in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and move on to our second user. Don't worry, we'll hear more from Professor Pope later. So our second professor is Dr. Kristen Labazzo. She is an assistant professor of biomedical engineering at Rutgers University. A little more background on Professor Labazzo is she has 15 years of lab experience in biomaterials, stem cell biology, and tissue engineering / regeneration. She's also passionate about STEM education and preparing the next generation of scientists. To do this, she has not only mentored several interns herself, but ran the internship program at Celgene Cellular Therapeutics, where she worked for 10 years, and also sits on the advisory board for several high school STEM programs. So Professor Labazzo, would you like to say hi to everybody?
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for that very nice introduction. I'm very happy to be here. Course Hero has been very helpful for me. The problem that I was having was I was tasked with teaching my first undergraduate class. And while I had some experience teaching graduate level courses, a lot of them involved guest speakers, and I didn't have to curate my own material. And of course, we had professors in the department who taught the class that I was given, which was biomaterials. It's a core class for the undergraduates. But I didn't want to just take their class material verbatim and spit it out. I wanted to add my personal touch, but also didn't want to reinvent the wheel. There's a lot of material out there. Biomaterials is a very common class for biomedical engineering, and I was sure that I would find material from other classes at other universities, but where to find that material? So that is what my problem was. I wanted to put together a course for the first time and didn't really know where to begin with that.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. And again, for the audience, please take a few seconds to try to summarize what Professor Labazzo shared with us in your own words. And then we're going to take those and do the next step in the process, which is identify opportunities based on what our two users shared with us. And again, you're going to hear from both of them later. But thank you both for sharing. So we'll give everyone a couple more seconds. Okay, and then we are going to go ahead and share the user problem. So we did do these interviews previously with both Professor Pope and Professor Labazzo to be prepped and ready to go for you guys. And so the way we had summarized Professor Pope's problem is it's difficult to connect with colleagues outside of my discipline when I want to understand how they approach teaching. And for Professor Labazzo, the way we summarized it is I need to teach a course for the first time, and I'm not sure if my materials and approach are on the right track. Now, you'll notice these are a little different from the exact words that they used, and our goal was to try to generalize a little bit so that it would be applicable to a broader set of users, because obviously everyone has their unique circumstance, and we wanted to kind of distill what might be the common part of that. There is no right or wrong way to do this. Usually it's a synthesis activity we would do as a group with our team. So now to talk about opportunities, I'm going to pass over to Kegeng.
Yep. Now with the problems in hand, moving to the second phase, which is to define opportunities. So how are we going to define the opportunities that we need to work on? So one of the main tools we use in this phase is called How Might We. Look at the user problems you wrote and try to turn them into a statement that gives us opportunity to create a solution. We want to take a negative and turn it into a positive for creative problem solving. For example, so the problem could be, I don't know how to teach Bio 101. And then the how might we could be, how might we guide the educator to learn how to teach Bio 101? See, you see the switch between the tones and the context. So now let's spend about 30 seconds writing down your own how might ways, knowing the problems from Dr. Pope and Dr. Labazzo. Just give it a try. I will start the timer. All right, the time is up. Hopefully you have some how might ways in hands. I saw some notes in the chat room. Seems like we're thinking about it. Now let's check out what Course Hero has brainstormed for the how might ways. So Dr. Pope has the problem that it is difficult to find and connect with the colleagues outside of my discipline when I want to understand how they approach teaching. So how might we create a space where educators from all schools and disciplines can be visible to each other? And how might we enable educators to share information about themselves and their teaching? Also, Dr. Labazzo has the problem that I need to teach a course for the first time, and I'm not sure if my approach and the materials are on the right track. So how might we make it simple for educators to find content from courses similar to the ones they're teaching? Are they similar to what you just wrote down? If they're not, that's totally okay. Usually this is the place where we come up with a lot of how might ways as a group and try to synthesize and narrow them down to the ones that really represent the opportunities the team agrees on. So this how might ways are also the opportunities that we're going to work on at the next step of our workshop.
Sorry, I'm adjusting a little bit. So for the next step, we were trying to see how big the session would be. And so we're gonna poll everyone on which of these how might we statements we would like to work on in our small groups. So we're gonna break apart shortly, but first we'd love for you all to select from the poll which of the options that you would like to dive deeper into in the ideation phase. So if you'll give you about a minute or so to select an option. And okay, see those votes coming in. Give it a few more seconds so we can get more people. Okay, just 5 more seconds. Make sure you get your response in. Okay, and let's go ahead and end the poll. And to share results, it looks like our third one is our winner. How might we make it easier for educators to find content from courses similar to the ones they are teaching? So for the next step, we are actually going to break out into smaller groups. You're going to be paired with a Course Hero member, and we're going to go through the ideation phase. A quick note, it takes about 30 seconds to a minute to get the room set up properly. So you may see some moving of the Course Hero people, but we're going to get some hands-on interaction quite soon here. So don't worry, you'll be auto-directed. You don't need to do anything whatsoever. It looks like pretty much everyone is here. So I will go ahead and share my screen again. Can everyone see the presentation again? Awesome. Yeah. Thank you all for being great sports and trying this. I know we're kind of going rapid fire. So to summarize the millions of things we've already done, Kegeng, would you like to walk us through this?
Yes. So welcome back to the big room. Hopefully you had some fun doing the crazy force. And we know it's quite challenging to actually think in the visual format, but that's the purpose, which is to actually push you out of your comfort zone and push for this creative juice flowing and get some solutions that you probably have never thought of. Let's recap on what we've just gone through. We empathized user problems through user interviews, and we defined opportunities through the how might we opportunity statements, and we ideated solutions through the crazy force sketching and show and tell. And we've got a taste of the first 3 phases of design thinking.
Thanks, Kegeng. So now the moment hopefully you've been waiting for, and I know we are excited to share with you, are how has Course Hero tried to solve these very problems? So instead of me walking you through it, because I don't think that would necessarily be helpful, I could show you features and elements of the website, but we thought it would be much more helpful to have the users that we brought on in the beginning share with you the problems that they face and how they are able to use Course Hero to solve those problems. These are by no means perfect solutions, but they're things we're constantly working and building on. And this is the current state of them today. So first, we're going to go over Professor Kelly Pope's problem statement. Just to recap, it is difficult to find and connect with colleagues outside of my discipline. And here we go.
So one day I was trying to find a psychology professor, and I was looking for them because I wanted to gain an understanding of if they used any simulations or if they used any games in their courses. And so I found that using the Course Hero website was really easy because it would let me not only identify them, but then it would allow me to look into their classes. So I went straight here to the educator community, and I typed in psychology. And I started searching. And what I loved about this is I was able to see how they had gone to the Educator Summit in 2019, or they'll be here at the 2020, but I was at the 2019 summit. So I actually ended up connecting with Norma. So I clicked on her profile, and I noticed that she had courses in the area that I was looking for, not only psychology, but developmental psychology and educational psychology. So I was able to also read her best lesson, so I could tell that she was active in the Course Hero community. So I read her best lesson, and then I was able to go into her courses and see the kind of resources that she had for others to look at. And that was really helpful for me. I was able to look at a lecture that she posted, and it gave me a snapshot into her classroom and how she thinks and how she organizes her materials. Then I was also able to look at her syllabi, which, I mean, if you were trying to do this by searching a school and then trying to find the department and then trying to find the faculty and then trying to see if there was a link to their class to even see if they posted their syllabi, that would really be impossible. So the platform really helped me go straight in, see your course, see the kinds of information that she has, and I'm going to unlock and see her syllabus. And it really allowed me to take a look and answer some of the questions that I wanted to ask, like what textbook is she using? How does she describe her class? What are the learning outcomes she's looking for? What are her goals? What are the books that she's using? It's really important to me. And then I was able to reach out to Norma. So I reached out to her, we set up a Zoom call, and I was just able to pick her brain. So I found that the Course Hero platform really made it easy for me to just answer that question of, how can I talk to a psychology professor? How can I see into their course? And it just made my search much, much easier.
Okay.
So one day I was...
Sorry. So awesome. So that was how Professor Pope uses Course Hero to find other members of the Course Hero community. And just to note, we have as of today, over 43,000 members who are verified faculty members in the US and Canada. And now for Professor Labazzo. And again, to review, her challenge was she was teaching a course for the first time and wanted to see how other people teach it and if she's on the right track.
So when I was given my first undergraduate class to teach, which was biomaterials, I went to the internet. I wanted to look up some material, ensure I was on the right track. And the first hit that I got when I Googled biomaterials slides was Course Hero. But like what I wanted to do was ensure that the way I teach the class is somewhat uniform to how others at other universities are. So instead, syllabus, and then you can see a whole bunch of syllabi pop up, and then I can open one and just take a look and see. Now, part of it will be blurred out because I'm not unlocking it, but I'm just quickly looking at some of these topics: biomaterials characterization, hydrogel, ceramics, testing biomaterials, orthopedics, cartilage, skin, drug delivery, tissue engineering. Okay, I pretty much touch on all of those. So here's my unlocks. And so this is some of the material. Here's an exam study guide just to see, okay, what are they expected to know for the exam? This is a very detailed study guide, probably put together by a student to help them study. So it looks like they summarized everything, but again, I'm seeing a lot of topics that I cover: biocompatibility, medical devices, regulatory types of medical device classes. Then a question here, a thought question, which is really great and something that I want to put more of into remote instruction. I want to give the students more exercises to get them thinking. Here's another translational question: advantages and disadvantages of using immune procedures in biomaterials research, and how does this apply to clinical research and development? That's important. Some tools, I don't get into this level of detail with analytical tools, but this class covers it. You can then go and look at you can go to the university, to the class, and look at more of that material. So, oh, here we go, there it is. EBMA 306. Introduction to Biomedical Materials. So now this is everything for that class that's offered at Case Western. So if I wanted to, here's a sample exam, here's a quiz answer key, so then I can look and see, again, just kind of seeing if I'm on the right track. Are my questions too hard? Are my questions too easy? So here they're showing about polymers. What's the schematic show? Is it addition or condensation? How many carbon atoms are there? Yep, we talk about polymers. Polymers are valuable and critical material used in biomaterials. So we get into great detail about polymers. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of exams, and then you could do the same thing for other universities. So definitely. And if I wanted to look at other classes, I could just go to Case Western overall, and then I could look at other topics as well. So yeah, that's my Course Hero experience.
Awesome. Well,
so when I was given
sorry, the autoplay again. So those are our two demos. And again, we thought it'd be best if you guys got to see that experience from the lens of both Professor Pope and Professor Labazzo. Now we're going to move into Q&A really quickly here, but just before we do, just so that you guys have these things to leave, and I will go ahead and share all these links in the chat before we exit. We wanted to let you guys know how you can learn more about Course Hero and also about design thinking. So the best place to start is definitely the Course Hero landing page for educators. The link is very easy, coursehero.com/educators, and it's a great jumping off point for anything you'd want to learn. You can take a look at the community that Professor Pope was showing at coursehero.com/educators/list. And then our Course Hero Faculty Club. This is our blog focused on the educator community. We have a collection of wonderful best lessons and classroom tips that members of our community have worked with our team, including Richard. I believe Professor Pope has one. Professor Labazzo, I don't know if you have one up there as of now yet. But there's just wonderful things in there. Our copyright policy, this is something we know about, think about, and have a team dedicated to at Course Hero. So if you ever want to learn more, coursehero.com/copyright, and I will double check the links. I just saw a question come up. I will post them all in the chat, and then the deck will be shared later, and you'll be able to access them from here in the future. And then Kegeng, do you want to speak to the design ones?
Yeah, sure. So if you're interested in learning more about design thinking, here are some resources that you could look into. Design thinking materials from IDEO, design sprint kit from Google Ventures, which is using design thinking as the foundation for a step-by-step manual. And the book Change by Design as the Design Thinking 101 from Tim Brown. So, or you can just simply search online and look for related resources on this topic.
Okay, awesome. And like I said, we're going to be getting all those links in the chat really quickly here. And so now it's time for Q&A. And just again, so we don't run out of time, if we don't get a chance to answer your question, please feel free to email us. Again, I get these emails, like a whole group of people gets these emails and responds very quickly, educators@coursehero.com. Or almost right after this session, our company is having office hours, and you're free to attend and submit any questions you would like to have answered there as well. And then of course, the help box on the chat, our team is actively responding to all of those messages as we go. So let's feel free to just go ahead and add any questions that you have in the chat. I'll try to work through with our team as many as we can. But just to reiterate, we're going to be putting links in the chat. All of the summit materials from the presentations will be shared after the summit. I'm sorry, I don't have more details on how that will be. Let me just go through and check questions. I see, by the way, thank you all for sharing your problem statements and how might we's. That was really awesome to see you guys sharing that, those ideas. And is there a fee to use or join Course Hero? And then what is Course Hero's mission statement and what is the business model? So luckily these are both related and wonderful questions. So Course Hero's mission is to help students graduate confident and prepared. And the way that we can believe we can do that is becoming a learning destination for students. We're primarily focused on higher ed, but eventually I'm sure we're going to try to venture out and help more students in various grade levels and learning institutions. For students, there is 2 ways to gain access. They can pay a monthly subscription fee, or they can contribute, as you saw, to our library. So they can upload things that they've authored, and we do require that everyone contributing to the library has copyright of the things that they upload. They have to actually accept terms and conditions when they do that. So either way, they have those options. And actually, for verified faculty on our site, right now you have free access. So anybody who becomes a member of our community and gets verified, currently we are only able to verify faculty in the US and Canada, but we're actively working on more countries. This was in response to COVID. We wanted to make sure faculty members had access to the things they needed to transition to online teaching. And of course, everything on our blog is completely free. No, Course Hero is not a nonprofit organization. We are a for-profit business, but we do take our social impact very seriously. Actually, at the employee level, this is something we have conversations, I would say, at minimum bi-weekly, because it comes up in our all hands with our leadership team regularly. And so our CEO, Andrew, I think covered some of the things we've done recently in terms of donations and student emergency relief funds and things like that, scholarships, social impact. I'm sorry, I don't understand that. Social impact at the investor level too. I don't know if you want to add more detail to that question, but we do take a pretty strong stand on trying to make sure that we reinvest the money that we make back into the student community and that they are getting the help that they need. Do you remove instructor guides and answer keys to textbook problems if they are posted by a student? So yes, we have a compliance team that any material that is on our site that should not be on our site, there's a legal process that we have to follow to have those materials taken down. And that process is described in detail on our copyright website. And if you as a faculty member ever find something that should not be on Course Hero that is something you've made and is copyrighted, all you need to do is contact us and submit the form, and we respond to those. I believe our SLA is within 24 hours. And Monique, if you have any more insights on that, but if anyone wants to learn more about that topic, we do have our office hours, but we have a whole team dedicated. Thank you, Richard, for posting our landing page and our community and our student scholarship site. Kamal, thank you. There are now new hybrid types of companies. For-profit is about investor return. The hybrid means investors also realize the value of social impact and not just the bottom line. Yeah, I'm not sure about the technicalities of how the business is set up with our investors, but we are a small privately held company. So we do have an unusual amount of control, and we're not uber responsible to a public board driven only by profit. I think you'll find that energy that Andrew brought to the opening session is really what drives and motivates every member of this company, and we're all encouraged to stand up and support that as we go. So it's honestly, it is something we take seriously. And I love working at Course Hero because I get to work on this product and I get to talk with you guys about these things. It's just really awesome to see the continued investment. And if you haven't checked out our proprietary content, we also create free content for students, literature study guides, course study guides. We try to make everything as accessible as possible, and we're constantly talking about how to do more. We only have 1 minute left. Course Hero office hours are in Pacific time. Great question. All of our sessions, I believe, on the schedule are in Pacific time. We're based out of San Francisco. Any last questions? I really appreciate you all attending today and your interest. I hope we were able to share something interesting and exciting. And it was a learning process for us. And thank you for participating. And feel free to contact us. Have we experienced any cyber threat? I'm not aware of any large scale ones, but we do have a dedicated security team to make sure that both we're following best privacy policies, security, and that us and our users are safe. How do you know if you're a verified member or not? If you have a specific question, please contact us. But when you sign up as an educator, there is a verification process and you receive a confirmation email. But I'm happy to follow up with you on if you email us at educators@coursehero.com or message me directly and make sure to check your status. Trying to see, thank you. Yes, thank you for everything. Enjoy the rest of the summit. There's some wonderful speakers. Professor Pope has another session. You'll see her throughout the day. I think Professor Labazzo is also sharing more. So please enjoy. It's been wonderful having you all. Thank you, everyone.